Look, everyone. Look at this woman. Look at this mother. Isn't she like so happy looking? And look at her children. They are beautiful. And her husband looks really content in his union with her. And yeah, it just looks great, doesn't it? I mean, they all look well dressed. The children look healthy. I don't see markings. I don't see anything out of the ordinary. They look like those are genuine expressions of joy. And her name is Megan Kafer. This is her Facebook page. This is public, by the way, so I'm not being a creepo. This is all public. That means that she didn't care if someone like me came across it because it is public. And she has a lot of things that aren't public on her page, which means that she selected this and other public photos specifically to be public. So yeah, I'm just going to put that out there. So, okay, let's keep looking. Oh, look, they look happy again. They don't look like they're on drugs or anything. They just look sincerely happy. The little mark on her precious baby boy's head is a birthmark, seemingly. I had a birthmark in the exact spot, and I still even get it sometimes when I cry. And look at her daughter. She's so precious. She actually looks a lot like, well, like a mix of them, really. He's so little, it's hard to say. But they just look so cute. So let's keep going. Team Wolf. Oh, it looks like she, because I believe that ribbon is for brain cancer, so it looks like she is showing concern for someone who is suffering for brain cancer. I'm guessing their last name might be Wolf or something. And then we're going to look at one more photo, and then we're going to actually read a news article that's about her. Let's see what it's about. Oh, look, there she is kissing. This looks like a professional photo, which means either she's friends with somebody with a nice camera, or maybe someone in her family has one, or maybe as a good mother, she paid to have these beautifully kept memories. I don't know. But either way, these are gorgeous photos. Look at those sparkling sapphire eyes on her baby. And look at that big kiss on the cheek. Okay, now let's go to the news article that was released about her, or published rather, about her recently. So this was published November 26th, and today is November 29th. So let me close this alert right here. Let's start reading. Oh, and by the way, she's from my little town. She's from Lewiston, which is, I don't even feel right calling it a town because it's that small. It's that small. It's limited to maybe like 4 blocks of houses, and then the rest of the homes are scattered in like among fields. And it has one Subway and one Dollar General, and the downtown is microscopic compared to what most would consider a downtown. So it's pretty small. So I'm shocked that I don't know this woman. But look, Lewiston, that's where I live. So hopefully she wasn't on my street. But I shouldn't say that yet because I don't even know what the article's about, do I? No, just kidding. I've read this article, but let's get into it. Lewiston woman gave baby laxative in attempt to inflict starvation, charges say. How to make a baby really sick. Miralax overdose. Child salt death. Okay, I thought it was just bad at really sick. She was looking up child salt death. Okay? Before I even get into the article, that automatically, in my opinion, makes her an attempted murderer. Okay? She was attempting murder on her child. Bad enough to attempt murder on a stranger. She was attempting murder on that sweet baby boy right there. This little angel right here. Her. She was attempting murder on him. So let's go back and read it. Those were some of the phrases a Lewiston mother typed into a web browser on her phone in the months before the Ramsey County Attorney's Office charged her with trying to endanger her infant's life, authorities say. They searched her phone after medical staff at Children's Hospital in St. Paul told police about troubling behavior involving the mother of a 9-month-old who was admitted to the hospital last July 11th for failure to thrive, according to court documents. Medical staff suspected Megan Lee Kafer, 25 years old, was harming her son because the infant weighed so little, despite doctors' inexplicably ineffective efforts to help him gain weight, say charges filed against her last week. They placed the baby and Kafer in a hospital room set up with a surveillance camera on July 26 to monitor their interactions. They soon observed the mother, who didn't know she was being recorded, inject something into her child's feeding tube with a syringe. So she was physically that she was literally put a hand in trying to murder her kid. Like, I can't even. At that point, authorities entered the room and told Kafer they needed to talk to her. She reportedly started shaking uncontrollably as police took her into custody. That right there, the fact that she was shaking when they said they wanted to talk to her after she tried killing her child, that shows that she knew what she did was wrong. That shows that she's not clinically insane, like I've heard people trying to say she had like extreme PTSD or, not PTSD, excuse me. What is it, where the mother has depression, postpartum depression. Yeah, no. First of all, the age of her son, well, no, you can still have it, I guess, then. But still, the fact that she was shaking shows that she was fully aware that what she did was effed up. Officers recovered the syringe as well as 2 packages of Miralax, which is a laxative, from her purse. Now, let me just say, I used to actually be addicted to laxatives when I realized how clearing out my, not to be gross, but when I realized that clearing out my system really helped my psoriasis stay clear, I kind of got addicted to them. Well, not kind of. I was taking like 25 laxatives a day. I haven't in almost 4 years now. Well, 3 years. I can tell you firsthand, it feels like your insides are ripping apart and like you're going to die. And it's not hard to die when you overdose on laxatives. So she told police that the Miralax was for her and that she only fed her child water with the syringe to try to help him gain weight. Now, that's what all sociopaths do. They insult your intelligence. They'll tell you lies like that because they truly are so used to getting away with lying like that. Like, anyone in their right mind knows she's in a hospital. She asked them, that's the point of being at a hospital. She could easily ask them to go give her baby water, and with a syringe, like, it's illogical. It defies logic, and she knows that. But sociopaths and narcissists, well, I don't want to put narcissists in a murderous category because they're not all murderous, but sociopaths, you can have evidence slammed in their face, up their nose, up their butt, and they will still lie to you. Testing later conducted on the syringe at the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension determined that the liquid inside of it was Miralax. A subsequent search of her phone revealed several internet searches related to overdosing on the laxative and other medical concerns involving babies, including searches for Miralax overdose. Can a doctor tell if you overdose on Miralax? Oh, there you go. See, not insane. She was trying to do it in secret. How to make a baby really sick. Mom gets 20 years to life for a poisoning son with salt. Salt child death. How to make a baby vomit. A medical report on the baby noted that his poor weight gain during his hospitalization was likely due to his mother denying him nutrition through a combination of disconnecting and diverting his feeds and administering water. It went on to say that the infant's prolonged weight issues were likely caused by inflicted starvation, and that the boy suffered a seizure during his hospitalization that appeared to be caused by hyponatremia, which can be caused from drinking too much water. The criminal complaint. Wow. That's like what I've heard people do when they're on ecstasy. They drink too much water. I didn't know that was the term, though, for when you have drank too much water, hyponatremia. Doctors believed Kafer both falsified and induced symptoms of illness in her son and used doctors as a weapon to inflict harm on him. The child underwent numerous procedures and surgeries because of it. Kafer's parental rights have since been terminated. But Kafer's husband, Jacob Kafer, said Monday that his wife's parental rights have not been terminated and that the family is working hard to be reunited. The couple has 2 children. We are trying to get the family back together in a way that's safe and healthy for everyone, he said. Since the incidents took place at Children's Hospital, Jacob Kafer said his wife has started working with a counselor and taking medication. Everything's moving in the right. Okay, this is what I don't understand. I would bet money that if it was someone else who's just walking down the street and tried to kill their kid, because that's what she tried to do. She looked up death, baby salt, all that stuff was obviously implying that she wanted to kill her kid. So if some stranger down the street did that to his child, I highly doubt he would be saying all this stuff. Like, I understand he procreated with this woman, okay? You can think you know someone really well, and they can end up being a sociopath. Like, it's not always the result of trauma or the result of a this or a that. It's called frontal lobe malfunction. It's called the person in the brain doesn't have a guilty conscience because of deficiencies in their frontal lobe. It's really, a lot of people just can't accept that some people are just sociopaths. Like, they've not experienced it firsthand, so they literally think everything is like causation, outcome. Well, yeah, the causation here is what I was saying about the frontal lobe. It's that simple. So him, I don't know if it's an ego thing, like, well, I chose her and I had kids with her, so I've got to make it look good because I'm not going to look like I married somebody who could kill my kid. Maybe it's an ego thing. I see that a lot with, like, uneducated families, like, families that just can't accept when they have a family member that's bad. They have to always try to paint this perfect image. Or if he's truly just brainwashed and believes that she's capable of not being a sociopath, like, overnight. Like, okay, let's medicate the murderous person. That's great. Let's medicate the murderous person and put this murderous person around the children. Let's keep reading. He added that it is still not clear what mental health diagnosis is right for his wife, but acknowledged that she has struggled in recent months. He does not think she suffers from Munchausen by proxy syndrome. Jacob Kafer said, though he noted he works as an engineer and has no training in psychology. The syndrome is one in which someone, usually a parent, hurts another person or causes illness to gain sympathy for themselves. And that's what I think she did. That's what I think this is all the result of, is that. I am not saying there wasn't an issue. There definitely was. I just don't think that it's Munchausen by proxy syndrome. Forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right. Jacob Kafer said, my wife was definitely not in the proper mental state, but to the extreme that they made it out to be and have laid out in the complaint, it's not quite like that. Okay, has he not read the Google searches? Like, is he not aware of what she did with the syringe, like, subsequent to the Google searches? Like, is his line of thinking truly that gapped or that, like, saturated with, like, denial? Jacob Kafer noted that he recently regained full physical and legal custody of his children and hopes his wife will as well soon. He added that they intend to fight the charges facing her in court. Okay, good luck with that. Kafer graduated from Winona State. A news article written about her in the Winona Daily News around the time highlighted her past struggles with post-traumatic stress. Okay, so she actually does have PTSD, she says, after her involvement in a fatal car accident years prior. So, you know, there actually have been reports of when people have had head trauma, they end up being sociopathic because it does damage the frontal lobe of the brain. Maybe that's the case. Either way, she's a danger to have around children, obviously. I mean, how much more evidence do you need? The article said Kafer had turned to self-harming behaviors and medication after the crash until she got a service dog. She's charged with 1 count of felony. Wait, the service dog helped her from self-harming and, okay. She is charged with 1 count of felony-level child endangerment that could result in substantial harm or death. She's scheduled to appear in court on the charge in mid-December. I might just go to that courtroom because it'll be in my town, so I might just sit in that audience if it's going to be open to the public. Yeah. So let's go back to her page. The reason I'm talking about this isn't, I mean, there are things that come up in the news every single day, okay? And I don't talk about it. The reason I want to talk about this is because I'm so sick of people judging people's parenting based on their social media pages, okay? I see all the time, if there's like a clip posted of a dad yelling at his son or something like, you didn't do well in school, you need to do your homework more, blah, 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 right? And it's limited to that. He's automatically called a bad dad when you see that clip, right? You don't see all the rest of the parenting that this dad is doing. On social media, you see clips, even if they're 20-minute clips. People see these clips, and they automatically think they know this person. They know their character. They know their capabilities. And I saw this in the Shanann Watts case, okay? People saw these clips and videos where Shanann, she was a murdered spouse. She was murdered by her spouse recently, and so were her children. And in these clips, she would kind of have this passive-aggressive attitude toward her husband. And in these little clips, sometimes the longest was maybe 30 minutes, people would determine that she was a black-hearted woman, and all. It was ridiculous. And same with her husband. People would determine that because he was quiet, that automatically deemed him, like, because he was shy, that made her just this controlling monster, and he was just this little meek guy that was just, like, shoved in the corner and, like, couldn't speak for himself. You can't determine what people are capable of by what they choose to plaster on their social media. Same goes for people plastering tattoos of their beloved children's names on their bodies. I see, it's like the moms I met in the women's shelter who didn't even have custody of their own kids for their own selfish reasons, they were always the ones with their kids' names all over their bodies, okay? So it's just ridiculous. So let's keep going. Oh, look, it looks like she cares if someone lives or dies. And I know this may seem sick that I'm clicking on this photo and using it in my video, but this is, again, public. This is what she chose to make public. She has all of her other posts not public, okay? So I don't feel bad posting this. He's probably a wonderful man. Obviously, she's an innocent, beautiful child. But I'm showing this to portray, or to show that she's portraying herself as somebody who cares if someone lives or dies. Well, we know after her Google searches that's totally not true. Let's keep going. Okay, so it looks like we've looked through all the profile pictures. Let's just take a look at her page. Looks like she's got a normal amount of friends. It's not like she only has, like, 30 Facebook friends and lives in a, sheltered bubble or something. Let's keep going. Although even me just saying that right there was judged. That was an assumption. Like, you can't go by someone's friends list. Like, you can't determine if somebody is trustworthy or anything like that based on how many friends they have. Let's keep going. Let's see if she's left any comments to her stuff. Thank you. Miss you guys too. So it looks like she has friends and family who check in on her. She said she likes this photo except Annalise isn't smiling. She looks like she's kind of smiling to me. Okay. Megan Kafer replied. Okay, let's keep going. Oh, so she actually has a mutual friend. I'm friends with that girl. That's how small this town is. So we have a mutual friend. And that girl, actually, I met at she works at a local, one of the only stores out here. Let's keep going. I want to see, so she got married in 2014. So actually, really not as long ago as I was thinking. 170 people liked that. All right. Let's go to about. So, all right. She's a fan of a sports team. It looks like her music choices are pretty mainstream, pretty popular. Nothing that stands out as, like, demonic or anything. Movies, Hunger Games, Despicable Me. Oh, she likes a kid movie. Okay. So, people might think that makes her better with kids. The Gentle Sleep book she likes under books. Let's see what that is. Oh, okay. Another thing that might portray her as being a good mother. The Gentle Sleep book, a guide for calm babies, toddlers, and preschoolers. So, someone might look at this if they're trying to judge someone's character based on their social media and say, oh, look, she like reads books to try to calm her children. Yeah, little do they know that she wants to permanently have her baby sleeping. So let's keep going. Her likes. Children's Miracle Network hospitals at Gunderson Health. Yeah, that would really coincide with her Munchausen syndrome, or however you pronounce that. Like, if she's constantly in and out of the hospital trying to make doctors think that her baby's dying, she's probably going to like more hospitals on here. Of course, like, I'm sure I like our local hospital too, but if she's got like an excessive amount on here, that might be indicative of something. But you can't judge from the social media. Love Your Melon, that's actually, every time you buy a Love Your Melon item, it goes to charity. Team Liam, oh, look, she looks like she cares again if someone lives or dies. Baby Connections, it looks like she cares about being connected with other mothers. Power of Positivity. So many baby-related things. The YMCA, a place that you take your kids and have fun and exercise. Thrifty Littles. Once Upon a Child. Dylan's Journey, another person she follows. Just if you were to just judge from this, okay? Let's pretend that news article never was published. If you were to just go off of her social media, someone would come to the conclusion that she's just a great mother. And that's just so wrong. People need to quit doing that. People really need to quit doing that. Let's keep going. Wow, she looks a lot of, actually, I've seen a lot of dying children. Twice the Fight. I just saw like a cluster all of a sudden when I was scrolling down. So I want to, which, you know, saying the dying children thing, that in and of itself isn't a big deal that she likes a lot of dying children's pages. It's just, but it goes to show again that she doesn't actually value life like she's portraying on her page. And look, she left a review for a local restaurant that's actually one of my favorites. She's going on about how she basically doesn't like this restaurant anymore because they don't allow service dogs. That's her service dog, Kaiser. She called him her lifesaver. What does he do? Does he keep her from killing? Is that what he does? So, you know, yeah, the point of this video, again, I'm just going to keep hammering it for those of you who think I'm just being a stalker, even though this is all public, is to let y'all know, like, because here's the thing. I'll see video clips, like I was saying. I'll see a video clip of a stern parent not using profanity, not threatening the child, not using violence, just looking angry, just being angry at the kid's behavior, right? And they're acknowledging the kid's behavior because the kid won't listen. And automatically, people say that that parent is abusive and mean. But after like a 2-minute clip, that's what they'll say, okay? Even though that parent could be amazing, it would never harm their child. Then you see people who would look at this and be like, oh, look, they're in the grass. They all look healthy. Look at their brushed hair. And these are professional. Oh, look at this. Look at them laughing. Look, look at her. She's just in awe of this child. Look at that. And you know, it's just, I'm so sick of people judging. I almost want to make a movement where, like, when people take photos, they don't smile. Like, if they want to smile, that's fine. But if they don't want to smile, they don't have to. Like, and actually, I guess technically you don't have to. It's just, like, looked down upon if, like, someone says, let's take a picture, and you just look pissed off. I mean, if you're pissed, you can look pissed. Like, I'm just tired of this, like, you know, everybody is inauthentic in some degree when we are exposing ourselves, like when we're in public, and this is public right here, okay? So this is in that category of when we're composed. And you just can't judge somebody based on what they're choosing to put out there. Like, look at Casey Anthony. Casey Anthony had pictures identical to not this one, to this one, where she was like smiling and laughing at little Kaylee. And there were videos of her rolling around with Kaylee. Kaylee was kicking her in the mouth. And this whole PTSD, I'm tired of people with true mental illness like PTSD and bipolar and schizophrenia. I'm tired of people with illnesses like that. There's a stigma for people with illnesses like that, is what I'm trying to say, because of people taking sociopaths like her and saying that, well, it's PTSD. Well, it's bipolar. No. Having bipolar or having PTSD does not rid you of a guilty conscience. The same is said for people who go shooting up a school. If these boys feel isolated and disconnected and bipolar and depressed and anxious, etc., OCD, I don't care. It does not make you murderous. It doesn't. Sorry. And it gives people who truly have these disorders a bad name. That's why people act scared of somebody sometimes when they'll say, oh, I'm bipolar. They sometimes people will lose trust in them because they'll say that they're depressed or have bipolar, because people, there's this kind of silent connection subconsciously that people have with, like, oh, well, then that means they could do this or they could do that. No, no, that's a misconception. Actually, if you look at a lot of A-type personalities, like this Chris Watts who killed his wife, who always had great work ethic, made great grades in school, had friends, you know, no real bad relationships with anybody at all, they're the ones that can suddenly kill. And that's 9 times out of 10, if you look at the people who've done the most heinous, secretive, I'm not talking about people who wave a gun around in public and do something crazy. I'm talking about the people who do it secretly, where they're truly hoping that they don't get caught. I'm not talking about these people who wave a gun around and then kill themselves, okay? That is something different. I feel like that is more, those people have major impulsive, they're just violent. They're just like an untamed animal. But I'm talking about people like this Megan person and people like Chris Watts and people like Ted Bundy. These people are calculating, okay? It's prepared. They're planning. They want attention too. Like Chris Watts actually wanted people to pity him for having quote unquote missing family when really he killed them. And the same could be said for this woman who is trying to act like she, you know, had a sick kid, but actually she was killing him, attempting to. So I hope this, I wish the public would open their eyes more. Even, you know, I'm just going to say this. When people tell me, oh, you're such a great mom, right? People online, not in my real life, when people online tell me, based on like clips of me and my children walking in the park or celebrating their birthday, or just like a little snippet of us being funny and laughing. When people leave a comment saying, oh, you're such a great mother, while I appreciate the kindness, I still always find it odd that they would assume that I'm a great mom based on those clips. Like, you know, how does that mean I'm a great mom? Like, you know, so what? So then that makes me think, like, what if there was a clip posted of me raising my voice at my son saying, you know, I asked you to clean up the mess. I asked you to clean up the mess. I've asked you all day and you won't do it. Like, does that mean then that people would be saying that I'm a vicious, like, abusing woman? Because that's what it makes me feel like. Because if people are going to think I'm a great mom based on that, you know, I know my mothering, I know my character, but others to determine it by that, I don't know. It's just, it goes into what I'm saying though here, is stop judging people based on the clips, the little videos that they put out. Same can be said for Chris Watts. Go look at all his videos. He looked like a wonderful grade A guy. And then also, likewise, go look at the clips of people who seem cantankerous, grouchy, grumpy, passive. You know, actually I've noticed people usually put that side of them out there for the public. They don't have anything to hide. They don't have anything to hide. People who complain, people who raise their voice, people who act grumpy, they don't have anything to hide. They're not stuffing their feelings. Their ego can handle people not liking them. So they can show their true colors because they're not fueled by ego. They're fueled by being a genuine person. Okay? And then on the other side of the spectrum, you've got people who stuff their feelings and they always have to agree and nod their head yes and they come off shy. Or maybe they're not even shy. They're just avoid conflict and they're very agreeable. And you know, what does that say? That shows that they literally are that afraid of being authentic with their feelings. And that's not healthy at all. That is like the opposite of healthy. And it can a lot of times result in murder and things like that because they don't know how to deal with reality. So they stuff until they implode or explode with a weapon. So anyway, yeah, I needed to vent about this. The first thing that came to mind when I read the news article was, oh, I bet her Facebook page makes her look like a great mother. And of course it did. So, and that's because nobody is going to post clips. Well, some people might. I could actually see myself doing this because my whole point of being online is to be real. Granted, I don't want to show I'm not going to sit there and just show my cellulite or my butt crack or like myself, you know, using the bathroom or things that I'm embarrassed about, like to that degree. But the things that I feel are harmless and not that embarrassing, I don't care. I'm going to put out there because I feel like more people should. And I don't know. But that's why people are afraid to be authentic, is because of this black and white judgment. That's why people are afraid to raise their voice and to disagree, because of people labeling them evil and stuff if they do. So anyway, all right, I'm done venting now.